So in the last session we talked about get method. Today we are going to talk about another type of method, which is basically an action method. Okay, so we are going to work with an action method. Okay, so basically an action method is one which can be used with an action component on the Visual Force page. Like get method is something which will execute automatically once the page is loaded. The moment you load the page, the get method automatically executes. But action method is something which will not execute till the time you don't. The end user does not actually call that method. How will the end user call the method? He will call it using the component. So it can be a uh, it can be a command button, or it can be a command link through which the end user can call that action. So we'll do the same example that we did in the last session. We will display two different lists. Okay. So in the last example that we did, we displayed two different lists on the same page, right? We're going to do the same thing with the help of action buttons. Yeah. If you look into this example, in this example, I have two different lists displayed on the page. One is customer channel, one is customer direct, and I have both the list under two different tabs, right? Now, for creating this kind of a page, what did I need? I actually needed two different variables. One is for the customer channel, one is for the customer direct. So if you go back to the code that we have written, you'll see that we have defined two variables, right? You'll see that we have used two variables. All right. Now, if I go to the code that we have created, this is what we have done. So I've defined two different variables, one variable for channel accounts, one variable for direct accounts, and then I have defined two different get methods for it. All right. Now this might not always be the case. I mean, every time you cannot define, if you have to define, if you have to display two different lists, you cannot show two different variables, or you cannot define two different variables for that. So think about it. If I have five different lists here, then am I gonna define five variables? Do you think that's gonna make your code a lot bulky? So for that reason, what we are gonna do, we are gonna use an action method here. All right. What I want to do is basically, I just want to display, let's say, the customer channel accounts, and when someone clicks on the button, customer direct accounts, the value should change to the customer direct accounts, that sort of thing. Okay, so on click of button, and we'll just define one variable instead of these two variables. We're just gonna define one variable, a generic one, and we are gonna change the value in the variable on click of the button. So that's what we will be doing. Okay, so we're just gonna take a different approach of doing this. So I'll go ahead and create another class. Call it this time. I'm not going to define two variables. I'm just going to define one variable, which is going to be a list of account. Call it accounts, and initially I'll assign the value to it. I'll say select name Troy. Okay, so let's define one get method here for this, which will help us get this value on the page. Okay, so if I just go ahead and call this method on the Visual Force page, then the page is gonna display me all the records from account, because I've not defined any criteria here, right? I just said select name, type, industry, phone from account. So which means it's gonna show me all the account records. So okay, so let me go ahead and create the Visual Force page. block, and then we create a page block table. Okay, so this will display all the records, right? Why? Because my variable by default has all these values, right? That's what my variable has. Now what I want to do is I want a couple of buttons here. If I click on the button, the value on this table should change. I don't want to define more variables and tables. I just want to change the value inside these variables on click of buttons. So in this case, you will use an action method. Okay. So for an action method, you can use a return type as a page reference. Like in this, I'm using a list of account as a return type. Action method, you can use return type as a page reference. What does that mean? Page reference method is basically a button which will reload the page. Okay. It can reload the page or it can open another page. All right. So in page reference method, you can give it any name, call it channel, null, and before you return null, you just go ahead and assign this value. Okay. So basically we have this page reference method. What is a page reference method? A page reference method is where you can actually give the reference of a page that you want to move to. Okay. So if you want to move from one page to other page, you can basically give the reference of that page. But here, instead of giving reference of a page, I'm just saying return null. What does that mean? If I'm not giving reference to another page, this page will return to the same page itself. And that's basically it will reload the same page. All right. So reloading the same page will be done through return null. Now, while the page gets reloaded, see basically what we want to do, try and understand this. I have data on the page. Now I want to change the data on this page. So data is basically coming through a variable. Variable value is coming on the page through a get method. Try and understand the connect. Get method, get method actually gets the value when the page loads. That's what we just talked. Now, in case I want to change the value of this variable, it will not change automatically. All that you have to do is you have to reload the page, right? Reloading is required, then only the value is going to change, right? So when you say that you have to reload the page, then for reloading page, page reference method is required where you should say return null. Okay. So this method is gonna reload the same page, a refresh kind of a thing. It's gonna refresh the page. In the meanwhile, while the page is getting reloaded, before the reload happens, it actually goes and updates the value of accounts. That's it. Initially, the value of accounts is this, but when someone clicks on this button, the value of account becomes this, and the reload happens. So I have two different page reference methods. One will update the value to channel accounts, one will update it to the direct accounts. Just save this. Now, how do I call these methods? To call these methods, I need the command button component. So just go to the Visual Force page. So I've created two command buttons. One is called channel accounts, called show channel accounts only. And action for this button is going to be the name of the method. What is the name of the method? Channel. So earlier we had just used one action, save action and quick save, that sort of action. But now you have the liberty to define your own actions and use them. So direct accounts only. Right. See, when you click on show channel accounts only, it shows only the channel accounts. When you click on show direct accounts only, it shows only the direct accounts. Got it? So here we have just used one page block table in the Visual Force page because we just had one variable. In the previous example, we had two tables. So, that's a good thing to do, but not a very good option always, because you can have multiple values or multiple lists, and you can always not go ahead and keep on creating that many variables and then that many components. That's ultimately making your page more heavy, right? So this is how we can actually work with an action method. This is how an action method will work, right? Let me know if on this page, while the page reload happens, you click on a button, and you see the entire page gets reloaded. So in a way, what is happening, this is also the entire page reload is something which is again not required, like this side, okay, and this side. This is basically not we don't need to reload this area because this is fixed. So when I say page reload, the entire page is not doesn't need to be reloaded, but when I click on a button, the entire page reloads. Okay, so what is the best way of not doing the reload? What is the best way? I want one of you guys to tell me that. We have done that earlier with a button.
Re-render, by using re-render in page block.
So re-render. So you go and give an ID to your page block table, table 1, and just go ahead and say re-render. That's it. And now, because I changed the value initially, it's just not showing me anything. It's showing me blank. When you click on the record, when you click on the button, it will display the records. And now see, the entire page is not getting reloaded. It has become a lot more faster. Alright. Okay. So that's how we use the page reference, the return type page reference. The page reference, basically, we are talking about a reference to a page. So any method which has a return type page reference needs to have a reference to a page in the return statement. Reference to a page. Okay, now the reference to a page can be either you are referring to another page or you want to come back to the same page, right? So if you want to go, if you want to come back to the same page, you say return null. If you basically want to go to another page, then you say return page dot page name. Let's say if you want to go to V15, then you can write this. Let me just go ahead and create one more page reference method. Public page reference. I call it go to V15. Okay, now this go to V15 is gonna take me to V15. Okay, so I'll go and create one more command button here. Text command button. Go to page action. Okay. This is missing. See, now this go to another page is basically connected to this method, which will take you to page V15. So once you click on this button, V17, I guess. Okay, let me go to 17. Tab view. Change it to tab view. Right. And when you click to this page, click on this button, it will take you to the page where you have the tab view. Basically, whatever page, doesn't make a difference. But only thing that I want you to understand is how you're, moving from one page to the other page. So from the command button, you can do that. All right. Now from here, you want to go back to the other list. You can create another button here, which can take you to V18. On this page, you can create a button. In that case, you will need a command action method here defined here in this controller of this page. All right. Okay. So let's do one more example with the action method. All right. Uh, just give me a moment. We'll do one more example. Okay. Uh, Fine. I think I'll not do this other example. I'll keep it for you guys as an assignment. So basically, what I want you to do is I want you guys to create a page to list all the opportunities, and I need a button for each stage of opportunity. You must have seen that there's an option of choosing the opportunity stage when you go to the opportunity page, right? So I basically want you to create a list page with a button for each stage, like closed won, closed lost, negotiating, uh, prospecting. So these kind of stages, I want you to have button for each stage, right? So that's basically what I will, ask you guys to do. That will be a assignment for you guys. You can let me know if anyone has any question or doubt here.